The third aspect of Castle's circle that I'm going to discuss is responsible decision making. Responsible decision making is the ability to make constructive choices about personal behavior and social interactions based on different standards such as ethics, respect, and safety, and making the appropriate decisions at the appropriate time, aligning those decisions with maybe our core values. So if you've talked about being self-aware and now you align it with values that you have as a person, and then also problem solving creatively. So kind of maybe to go back to the math, if you're struggling on a specific topic, maybe it's algebra, that's something that you want to get better on. Do you have another way of getting better besides just practicing your skills? Maybe kind of thinking outside of the box to make that decision and be a little bit more creative with that. I love this little picture here, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen it in classrooms, and I just love this think model. Thinking when you're making decisions. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it illegal? Is it necessary? And is it kind? And this graphic does have it in related to social media, because before you post, as we teach kids, we have to think about these things before we post. Making sure that they know that it's always choices that they make are going to be posted there in pictures and such. But also this matter of being legal and ethical, and does it respect other people as well? It's always something to think about. So I love this graphic and how it ties in. So when you're talking about making decisions and how you can model that in your classroom, you can identify problem-solving steps and connecting back to any multi-step curriculum. So when you're talking about a multi-step problem in math, or maybe in chemistry and science, or when you're writing, so how do we decide what comes next? And students go, well, I just know what comes next. Okay, but what's the thought process that you go through? And you kind of connect that to problem solving in real life. You have to think about what are your choices and what the best one is for you in that situation. For the younger students in elementary, when you talk about being the ethics and being a good citizen, you definitely try and bring in a police officer or maybe even a mayor. I know my son has gone and done field trips into our little city, and he's talked to the mayor and how the mayor runs decisions and how he makes decisions. Researching current events, and then how the people in politics and how the writers and in any sports team, how do they make their decisions? What are the processes that they go through? Maybe if you want to bring learning outside of the classroom, you can try and reach out to some of those people. Maybe with you as a teacher guiding, you can have them reach out. How did you decide, that you wanted to pass this bill? How did you decide that you wanted to play this player in sports? And that becomes a research paper with the current events, and you're tying all that in. For our older students, moral situations that maybe have, that are topics that are a little harder for younger students to understand, like the hot buzz topics that are in our news today. And then the last thing that you can do is create these classroom decision-making processes together. You can ask for students' input so that they feel like they have the input in there, and also make something that they can all agree upon, and then it helps them follow that as well. So with making decisions, and you want students to kind of make their own decisions and come up with their own roles, another Smart Lab activity is the flip out. Okay, I'll start this one for you. These are little flip cards, and you'll notice that your Smart Lab will change on your page, and you'll have access to these as well. These are through that same little monster icon that I showed you just a minute ago. And when you flip them out, you'll notice that they all have different steps of a problem-solving model. You can have students group. You can put them into groups and different devices. So maybe you don't even have a device for each student. You have 5 devices in your room. You could put students into groups. You can put them into reading groups if you want to differentiate, or math groups. And you can have them build and kind of talk about this. Because if you'll notice on your page, you can manipulate them and move them around on the flashcards. So they become more than just flipping out. And then you can come back in and have a whole class discussion. And then you as the teacher, if you have this on notebook, you can ink right over it and kind of create this diagram. You could have it be part of the center and have kids going around. In an upper grade level class, perhaps you could put different math problems or flashcards for up here, story elements, and then have students come up and map them on the front board to get them out of their seats and be a little bit more interactive in the classroom. So this flip out activity on SmartLab has more potential than just being the up and down. You could have students sort. So again, you're kind of prompting this higher level thinking, and we're talking about problem solving skills on here. You could have students submit their norms and then put them on here and decide what's important as well. So that is our flip out.